The moniker became McClymonds, School of Champions. They were the gold standard. They were the best.
The Tournament of Champions and the School of Champions was legendary in West Oakland.
At that time, sports was totally magnified. You had Bill Russell and Frank Robertson and all those guys going through McClymonds.
Paul Harless, from San Francisco, he played for Benny Neff at Lowell High School. Then he matriculated at the University of San Francisco during the war. Then he got the job over at McClymonds.
Paul Harless was the premier basketball coach in the Bay Area, and he brought about up-tempo basketball, he brought about pressure defense, and he brought about the idea of letting players, use their skills.
Paul Harless was a tremendous coach at McClymonds. He's a great handler of men. And that's why they won 6 TOCs.
Paul Harless worked as a recreational director at Herbert Hoover Junior High School, and we would go there at nighttime and just talk to him and just talk basketball.
Coach Paul Harless really stressed defense and fundamentals, the fundamentals of dribbling, shooting the basketball, defense, all the little things that goes into making up a complete basketball player. I got them from him.
I talked to Paul Harless during the scrimmage. He said, "Lil, I've got the finest basketball player I've ever seen." I said, "Who's that?" He said, "Paul Silas." He said to me, "I am not going to lose a game for 3 years."
I can recall the very first game that Paul Silas played as a sophomore. We were playing Richmond High, and he hit 24 points. And that was, that was unheard of.
I was the best athlete, say my sophomore and through my senior year. We had excellent basketball players, some like Jim Hadnot, I played with him, Fritz Pointer, Aaron Pointer, Cha-Cha McKinney, Wendell Hayes, who played football, and Ed Thomas. He was one of my teammates also.
Ed Thomas broke the OAL scoring record and only played in half the league games. And in one game had in the 50s, and to my recollection, averaged in the 40s.
We just had great players, but great camaraderie. The guys really understood how to play, and they loved to win.
And we didn't just play during the season. We used to play at the Infirmary Park.
I have a deep affection for McClymonds High School, and it comes out of respect. I never thought they really received the acclaim that they deserved.
From 1957 to 1962, McClymonds High School won 110 out of 111 games. And the pressure to win was unbelievable because you never wanted to be on that team that was lost the first game to break that streak.
The McClymonds teams at that era, they had outstanding talent. There's no question about it. But they also had a fantastic full court and half court press, and so that you felt like you did something when you got the ball in the front court. They collapsed on you, and they got away with a little bit of pushing and fouling. And so they got the ball from you. They wrestled a lot of balls away from you.
And Paul Harless would always schedule very tough games. We'd play the Galileos, the Polytechs, SIs, you played the El Cerritos, Richmond High.
Harless changed. He didn't have the same thing going every year. There was one year where he was actually running an offense that was very similar to what Newell was running at Cal.
I have never seen anyone that was as innovative as Paul Harless was.
At the Tournament of Champions, it was so loud with the student bodies that when a timeout, no one could hear.
And you literally couldn't hear yourself think at timeouts because all the cheering sections were competing, and it was just unbelievably loud.
The noise level was so great that you could hardly get any information to your players.
So Paul Harless rolled his cabinet out. It was on wheels, and he put it there, and each of the players put headsets on.
We said, "What is that?" We say he's out of his mind.
When this thing was rolled out, we were getting our instructions, and the opposing team were so shocked about what was happening that they never got anything taken care of. And the timeout was out, we were back on the floor and we were playing again. But this just goes to show how innovative Paul Harless was.